Hello everyone and welcome to Frostpunk. This is my survivor run, which I managed to actually complete. So rather than go episode by episode, I'm just going to try and cram this down into one, maybe two, depending on how much we have to go through. It's quite a lot to go through, but I'm going to try and cram it down for you guys. So immediately you can see, like, I'm researching the beacon. I want to send those guys out. I want to get resources as quickly as possible. I'm putting these guys to work almost, immediately on the resources things. And I'm just trying to eke out as much as I can before the first night is over. I believe that, I need to pull some of these guys back to do medical tents. But the biggest issue on survivor mode, if you can see at the top of the screen on the top left hand side when I go back to it, yep, the bar there is frozen. I cannot pause the game, not that it helps much. Not in this mode. There's so much going on, you really need to micromanage everything straight from the get-go. The main thing you need is wood. See, I'm putting everything on 24-hour cycles now so that I can get the most out of everything. And even though that puts discontent way up into the rafters and everyone now hates me, that does diminish over time. So a little bit of heads up, I did start to follow a guide for this one, and I'll put it in the description below if you want to have a look at their full guide. After a while I thought, right, I'm fine, I don't want to follow the guides completely. Basically, once I set up my hunters huts, I set up, I was a little ahead of the guides, I think, in this one actually. I was like one day ahead because I was a little bit more harsh with my people. I had everyone working 24-hour rather than just a few. So I managed to get the jobs done a little sooner than they did, and at that point I thought, right, I don't want to just take my engineers out because they're not working in there, they're not working on a 24-hour schedule. So taking them out of there, put them into the medical tents overnight so that they can, no roof over our heads, they want homes, so we're going to have to provide shelter and get the wood going up. That's why you need wood in the morning. And I want to wait as long as I can before I turn on the generator. Once I do turn on the generator, I think I put it on boost. Did I boost it here? Maybe not just yet. But basically the first few days while the temperature is still -20, you want to turn the generator off in the day, and then the on in the night, because otherwise in the night you're going to get a lot of sick, which is always a bad thing. Taking the engineers out so I can save the engineers who I'm going to need to build the medical posts, which I'm going to need. And engineers are the bread and butter of this. They are going to help me so much. Workers have their uses, but engineers, you really want to have them to stay healthy because they go to work for you in all the best spots. The end of this playthrough, I was looking pretty good. I just had to survive the storm, which I had to cut a few corners with the scouts again, but I managed to get everything done, and the beacon is so helpful for that, which is why I'm putting everyone on 24-hour shifts overnight so I can get the steel and the wood done as quickly as possible, which I'll need for the houses, which I'll need for the beacon, which I'll need for everything that is to come. So let's fast forward a couple of days and have a look. So rather stupidly I left the generator on too long this day, and I burnt more coal than I needed to. But I couldn't go back because you can't load up a previous save file. You can see the discontent has gone down loads since the last time I used the 24-hour shift, and if I use another 24-hour shift now in any building, someone will die, and I'm aware of that, but I might need to do it for the technology and technology side only. This is why everything takes, you need that resources grab almost immediately, because look at all those tents. They're 10 wood each. You got the cookhouse there at 20 wood. I'm going for the resource gathering post, which I'll need when it's -40, because that will mean. And right now I'm building towards the coal mines over there. I will need to go to there eventually, but right now I'm building towards it to provide the beacon. Once I got the beacon, then I'll do the hunter's huts to the side of that as well. So the beacon's nice and out the way. Really, I want it there. I think in the end I settled, yeah, for there, which is close enough, really. And I just take out the path as much as I can there. So it's still attached to the pathway, but it's not so far. It's not using wood. Now you might think why that, but wood really is that precious to me right now. All the beginning tiers require wood. To research tier 2, the drawing boards in the research post, you need 50 wood. To send out a team to survey the land, you need 40 wood and 5 people. I use the sick, because hell, they're not working, but they will go out and collect for you, which is excellent. So you can use them out there. Just be aware that when they return, they'll probably need some time in intensive care. So if you return a team and dismantle a team, you're gonna end up with 5 workers who are sick. So it's not like you'll get them back anytime soon. Generator's off. I'm still leaving it off. I'm going to wait and then I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to keep these 24 hours because I stupidly left the generator on in the day, so I need them to gather coal overnight, which is my bad, but we're close to that 40 that -40 mark. So new law, I've done the extended shift, which puts people on like 16 hours work, which is better than overtime. Sustain life. Thinking about it. Because I might need the people. I might need the people to stay alive. Or radical treatment, which means amputees. In the end, I just went with sustain life. And it's a bit of a harsh one to call that, because usually I do radical treatment and like go for the corpse pits and that sort of thing, and that's all very well and good in itself, but sometimes you just need people to stay alive so you can bring them back. I mean, it was a tough call, that one. Had I made the decision again, I'd probably go for radical treatment. I believe the guide said, I can't even remember now, this was a little while ago, but yeah, had I done that decision again, I've gone for radical treatment. But sustain life, alright, they're taking up beds, but eventually they're going to get better, and when they do get better, then they can go back to work, I think was the idea there. Alright, so let's check in, go into the Gloomy Cave or the Lost Expedition. So I'm sending them to Lost Expedition right now, but I don't have to click on that and like see the people coming back just yet. So the next thing I did was overcrowding in the laws, just to have more sick beds available. That doubles the sick beds in my medical post, bringing them up to 10, which means I can have more people in there without having to build more, which doesn't cost me any wood. You can see right now there's no food to serve, but I've got hunters' huts just built, and I have my gathering posts, but I don't have that many people to go in them because most of them are sick. There's people without homes. The scouts are being sent out to gather in people and resources and that sort of thing. So right now I got the generator on overdrive because it's about to get very cold and it's night, so I don't want any more people getting sick because I really can't afford it. As soon as these guys come back, they'll start dishing up the food, and then when the food's all dished up, then they can get back to work on something else. So as many people as I can on there without costing too many people from other areas. So I've forgotten to withdraw my workers. You can see in the top left there, they're on the coal and they're gonna start to get sick because I am an idiot and I realize that now, so I'm pulling them off before they get before they start, really, before they go to work. So I'm just pushing them into other areas where they can start dishing up food. And it's just all micromanaging. Everything right now is micromanaging. Looking at where the sick are, looking at where, like, these are cold, these are in intensive care, so that they're going out, and then I got people to replace when the food comes in. You see I've done hunter's gear there just to give myself a little bit more food, and I'm waiting on the next tier to try and get, yeah, again you see I'm stupid and I haven't brought those people out. So I've actually got all the people I need, but I was just careless there, and that's cost me a little bit more sick. People are hungry, people are in shelter, and yeah, this guy's just come back from a little expedition to the sturdy shelter, so he's brought back the food, which I desperately need. So now he can go out and pick up either more people, or there's an automation out there which is going to be really helpful. So I'm just trying to get all that into position. So right now is the time when I stopped following the guide, because the guide said get to the supply house as quickly as possible, the storehouse. That's where all the food rations are. That's going to sate a lot of people, and then you can start thinking about the future then, which is basically all of that point is just getting yourself off the ground. Once you're off the ground, I believed I was on top of the situation enough to warrant leading away from the guide, and that I could do it from myself from this point onwards. So I started doing, and this is something I didn't realize until my third or fourth playthrough. You can have more than on New Home, I should quickly add. I played through everything else the same way, and then like third or fourth playthrough, I looked at the guys and they were like, hey, don't forget to have multiple research areas, and I was like, what? Well, you can have more than one, it speeds it up. And yeah, that's crucial, having more than one research post, just to have researchers. I think it's an hour faster per post that's fully filled up with people, so it really cuts down the time that things take to research the more you have. Obviously, again, that depends on how many engineers, how many are like in the medical posts, how many are doing other important tasks. So you want to save your engineers for this reason, for the reason that you will stand much better chance if you have more than one research post. Having said that, the backstabbing part of it is that you're probably going to need them for medical posts anyway, and it's not going to be until later in the game or very early in the game. It really depends on your society. It depends on how everything's going. If everything's going well, then yeah, sure, add more research posts, but until it gets to a stable economy, and to be fair on this, you never really have a stable economy. You have a pretty good economy, but it's never really stable. Until you get to a point where you feel comfortable, that's when you add the research posts, not before, because you're probably going to need those resources for building, for workers building, and for medical posts. So let's fast forward a bit and see how I do. So you can see me right now, I'm building those extra posts just to really make these the research go up a lot faster. So I'm pulling engineers into there so that I can research faster. There's my third hunter's hut. Alright, it's, you know, it's fairly, it can't really be filled, and I regret building it at this point, but you can also see that I have a child shelter to build, and basically the thing behind that is I'm going to have medical apprenticeships. Now, I believe in the guide it was said, you know, you probably want engineer apprenticeships because that's going to help you research faster and per research post, but I really need to get on top of the sick situation. I need those workers working. So I put them always as medical apprenticeships, and that's going to boost my medical post by 20%, which doesn't sound an awful lot, but it does really help in the long run. Usually then I go for extra rations for the ill, which can boost it magnificently, but actually this time I went for overcrowding, so I don't need as many medical tents, which is going to save resources, which is why I'm able to build the research posts here and the workshops, because I've saved the resources that I usually spend on medical supplies. So yeah, it's gone pretty nicely. I've got fairly stable food coming in, and that's why I'm building the extra research and just trying to ram through to the next stage of research as quickly as possible. After that, it's... Yep, there it is. Child shelter can now be built, and I want to put it fairly close to the next ring because... Just check what I need to do. So now bunkhouse, I could do temperature, more scouts, but I go for wall drill, and wood is so important. Like I said before, wood's very important. Once I get an automation, I can put an automation on wood and just have that go overnight and just keep collecting in the wood, which is great. Right now I don't need the coal mine just yet because there are several coal positions still unfilled, like this one over here, so I can build a gathering post and have them go out and grab just a little bit more coal for when the other gathering posts go down. So I'm just trying to fill these out with people, and there's not that many people available. There's only 3, but they can go out and grab some food, and pulling anyone out of anywhere else just to boost the food as much as possible, because I can always pull someone out of an engineer out and put them in somewhere else. But the economy is fairly stable except for food, but I'm ready with the food, so I'm hopeful that I can get everything down in time. For a minute there, for a long while, I was able to stay fairly steady, and I can focus a bit more on the political aspects then, because your people will basically try and kill you. If you don't keep them happy, if you don't give them everything that they want, they will rebel. That's not to say you need to give them everything they need straight away, but it is something. If they ask for heat, you'll get a couple of warnings before they'll go into full rebellious mode. So yeah, you got to watch out for that. The more you say no, the worse your situation gets, and they will they will rebel. Alright, that guy's come back, so now I can go off to Steel Bridge. That's given me slightly more workers. Some of those will go into treatment. I believe... Yeah, I needed the workers right now, and they're all in treatment because Numpty is forgetting what I said earlier, which is when those workers come back, they will need treatment. So I'm fairly certain I can survive the night with the coal I have, and I'm just checking the medical care now to see how long it will take. They're building, they're hunting. It's just yeah, it's a situation. So let's skip ahead. So right now I've got an automation coming to the city. I've researched coal mine, which is starting to build in that top corner, but I don't want to build it just yet because I still want the gathering posts to use up the coal that they have before it gets too cold. And we're about to go to -30, so it's going to actually go down, well, go up 10 degrees, I suppose. So that's not too bad, and that will mean it's a little warmer for everyone, and they can hopefully they won't need that much treatment either, because they won't get as sick because they're not freezing cold. And they'll work at the gathering post, finish up the coal gathering, and then they can go and start to work in the mine, which, might I say, the mine produces more coal than the gathering posts. But like I said before, I just want to use up that coal right now in the gathering posts before I put them in to work in the mine. Probably not the best idea, but yeah, you can see there I'm building a corpse pit, which, oh joy. But that does mean that I can use organ transplantation, which will boost my medical again, which means that with the medical apprenticeships, with the organ transplants and the extra sick beds, my medical areas will be working almost at peak efficiency. I say almost because if I went for extra rations instead of overcrowding, then it would be peak efficiency, but hey ho. So these guys are doing the extra scouts. The reason for that is I need to get at least 2 scouting parties out there as soon as we find Winterhome, and Winterhome's dead obviously at this point. So I've got to send out my scouts. There'll be another path that opens up to the east. I don't know what the map looks like, but it'll be going the other way, American camps towards Tesla City, which is where I'm going to get all my steam cores from for the future. Very important that I get scouts there as soon as possible, and then an expedition team to start harvesting steam cores, so I can start building automations, larger coal mines with more, more production of coal, which I'm gonna need. So everything depends on that, and again, I can get I'll have to research all of that, so I'll need those people to research it. So it's just staying on top of everything right now. This playthrough was pretty good because I didn't use any child labor. You can have extra labor with children. You can have them work down the mines. You can have them work in the gathering posts. And yeah, that does bring you a lot of extra labor, but the more dangerous a site it is, like a gathering post is fairly easy, a cookhouse is fairly easy, but if you put a kid to work in a mine, he might get crushed by machinery and die, and that's really going to alter hope, and discontent's going to go up, and that can really be a problem long term if you're not careful with it. Short term it's great, but long term it can be really bad. So there's my mine established, which is pretty good, but yeah, it's just trying to keep everything in line right now. So right now I'm really trying to get the resources established. I've got steel works, 2 steel works going up. I need the temperature spike, so we're about to go down in temperature, so I want the basically the thermometer one, which is just heaters in workplaces, which will keep people a little bit heated, and mostly that is for the cookhouse, because that will not function unless it's heated. You can see here I've already tracked quite far, but not all the way out where I need to go. Scouts, just checking on them. They're about to make it, and yeah, most of the survivors I'm just having sent to the city, and that's how I'm staying ahead on my tasks on scouts. I need them to get in and out of places as quickly as possible. So I'm thinking, what do I need right here? I could go for the medical, but I need the heat, because that's going to be a thing before too long. I'm not going to get it done before the next day, but at least it does mean that when people start complaining about heat, I can provide something a little later on. So I'm anticipating that in the future they're going to ask about heat. You can see me swapping out the extra hours, and back to the normal hours there, and that's just to keep discontent down, to stop them complaining about overwork. I don't want anyone complaining about overwork. The reason for that is eventually you'll have to have everywhere on short hours, otherwise people really rebel against you and start discontent really spikes on that one if you say no, and keep people going. They can become very apathetic. It's happened once before. Work team became apathetic and didn't put any work into there, and so it really didn't help me long term. So now and again you want to give people the night off and less hours so they can enjoy themselves in the night. But right now we are looking pretty good. So yep, my scouts have finally made it to the next location. I'm just keeping all the sick people out of here and just keeping the healthy in and the sick out. So this guy's made it to Winterhome, and I don't want to activate Winterhome just yet. I want to wait as long as possible before I activate the Winterhome thing, because I want to make sure that I've got everything ready, that I can sign in the laws to boost morale. Basically, I've got the resources to build guard towers, that I've got things to cover myself with, because as soon as you visit Winterhome, it basically says, hey, everyone's dead and we're depressed, and you've got to provide law and order or spiritual help to help your people through it. And for that you need to, like, if it's spiritual, you've got to build churches. If it's law and order, you've got to build guard towers. I went for law and order because it's just easier to keep people online with that rather than faith. And faith, you will have always guaranteed one death. So if you're going for the no deaths trophy, and God knows I've done that one and it's been so harsh, it's important to remember that yeah, if you go faith, there will be a death, always. I have never known there not to be a death. So if you need that trophy, don't do law and order. Do yeah, do faith. Do faith. Do law and order. Don't do faith. Oh God. Don't do faith if you want the trophy for no deaths. So just trying to keep everyone rotated, and I've got plenty of workers now, so I can just keep everything up to date. I can take the sick out, put a healthy person in pretty well. With those corpse pits established, the organ transplants, the medical apprenticeships, everything's pretty good. Survivors reach the city. Now those are the guys that I sent to the city. Some of them are probably died, some of them are probably very sick. But with the sick and the medical apprenticeships and all that going full tilt, I can at least get them better quickly. So thinking about who I'm putting in here and who I'm taking out, and it's all very hands-on. Everything's going on right now. And I got my scouts waiting at Winterhome. They're not going to activate it. I think it's day 15 when that activates. I might have gone slightly early due to other factors, but as soon as you go there, or as soon as a member of Winterhome gets to the city, discontent goes through the roof and hope goes down the toilet. So you gotta re-establish everything. Plus you've got the problem of the Londoners who are trying to say, let's evacuate and go back to London. So they're idiots. They die for certain, absolutely no question, because the storm's coming and it will kill them. So yeah. Also, the other thing about this, any survivors coming into the city, they're usually hungry as well, so they'll drain your food almost immediately. Your larders will be empty, and you can see my food is whittling down right now, which I'm going to have to address. But let's skip forward again. So the city's really coming together. It's really coming together because now I have heat zone range 2, generator power 2, which yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy to hold it there for a long while. I can boost heaters in other places. I can use the thermal towers just to help with heat distribution, which I don't really need to look at any more power for a little while, which is great. And I can focus a bit more on resources. You can see there, like, it's showing I'm going to run out of coal soon. But that's okay. I can live with that. It's not the worst thing because I can build another mine as soon as I get a steam core in and all of that starts going. It's not the worst. I can survive as I am right now. It's not. Yeah, people are hungry. That is an issue. So, like, it will give me that notice. People are hungry. You need to feed them. And then it will go like, hey, people are hungry. Feed them. And then if I still ignore it, they're like, hey, now feed the people or you lose. Basically, is how that goes. So I got to do something about food. But I think I have soup on the go, so it's not the end of the world. I would say don't go for. I tried rushing the hothouse, which provides like constant food. It sucks up 10 workers immediately, but it's not worth it in the end of the day. As soon as you build a fighting area, so that will lower discontent. As soon as you get the flying hunters established, and then finally upgrade all of that, you really don't have to worry about food again. I would say 4 or 5 of those would feed a city. When you need to stockpile, obviously you can build more. Hopefully by that time you have less workers in there, so it only needs 10 people and you're getting the maximum food. So I found towards the end all I needed was engineers researching and basically hunters flying off and getting me food. Everything else was manned by an automation which just kept the resources coming in even overnight, which is the best thing to have. It's just basically what you're looking to get towards. Get the factory, get automations working, don't have too many. As I found out to my cost, having too many can be a real issue. It can, sending people out to Winterhome again. Too many people could be a huge problem. Just in terms of everything. They've burned through everything. Alright, so I'm waffling now, so let's skip ahead again. So the temperature's gone back up again, and we're at -30, which is a great place to be. You can see everyone's still in tents, but they're not too discontent with that. They've got the fighting pits to calm them down. We now have an extra coal mine. The flying hunters, I'm converting my hunters' huts to flying hunters to get that extra food in, which I'm going to need to make everyone happy about the food situation. Yep, there it is. The hungry were fed because now I have flying hunters, and that's pretty much once I upgrade the last of these flying hunters' huts to flying hunters. That's basically going to be it for the food situation until I need more, in which case I can just build a flying hunter's hut straight away. Once you get your flying hunters, it's pretty much a staple that you're always going to have enough food, unless you're really, really stupid and somehow mess it up. But yeah, as long as you've got workers in there and they're flying off to get food every night, that's going to be the best way to get food, because they'll of course work through the night, sleep in the day, but you can just keep them in there. There's 10 workers that you'll need in there when you get all the upgrades done, and maximum food, which is way better than hothouse, which takes too much resources in my mind. In my opinion, it takes way too much resources away from you need a steam core, you need 10 workers in there every day, and sometimes, you know, you can't have them work overnight unless you do a 24-hour shift. It doesn't produce as much food as the hunters' huts long term. You can research that, but that again is very costly, and you need another steam core to upgrade for that one. So yes, it does eventually produce enough food to support your society, but it takes so long to get there, and flying hunters has never led me astray. They're the best. The only one you have to do food for is on the engineers playthrough, on the Arcs playthrough. But right now you see I'm putting people in there. Why am I doing that? Well, just a sec. I want, yeah, the cargo scouts is what I should get right now, but I'm just having a look to see if there's anything else I need. Medical's useful, bunkhouse is going to be useful, steel's going to be very useful, and that's what I need right now, is steel. But basically, every worker that's in there, I'm just putting people in there while the temperature is slightly warmer, just to get as much coal as I can before the temperature goes back down again and it really starts to sting. So I'm just pulling as much coal in as possible. I'm not using my scouts, which was a mistake, so I should think about that soon. But you can see I still haven't gone to Winterhome. It's still not activated, and I'm just waiting as long as I can until that goes ahead, because I want to be in a position where I'll need to build guard towers, which is why I'll need that extra steel for the guard towers. I'll need to, there's so much that I need to do for this. There is so much that needs to be, I'm preparing for the next stage basically. Right now everything is being prepared for the next stage. I'll need the steel for the watchtowers. I'll need people to go in the watchtowers and work for them. I'll need to be able to update all my tents to bunkhouses at some point, otherwise people are really going to kick off. I'll need enough food for everyone. They'll need to be off soup as much as possible on normal stuff. So right now, I am, yeah, sending another scout post to Winterhome. Why? Because there's a couple of areas over there that I want to visit, and now I've sent the sick people again because all the healthy people are working. And yeah, I'm just sending the sick out to Winterhome, and as soon as that unlocks I can start sending them on. There's some wood out there, there's some materials out there, and there's some survivors out there, so I need to collect all of that in. And unfortunately all the survivors out that side of things need to be escorted back. You can't just yeah, there's children out there, so you have to escort them. Yeah, cold homes. Won't address that right now. You see that discontent go up a little bit, but not huge. If I keep doing that, they will revolt against me. But right now, the temperature is on 1, just to preserve more coal and just keep that going in. And I have enough hunters, yeah, so I'm throwing people down the mines again. I have enough hunters to keep things going, and I can just track my coal there, see how many people, how much coal I'm going to burn in the next day. If it's green, it's good. It means that I'm getting enough coal in. If it's red, it's bad. That means that I'm not getting enough coal in per what I'm burning. So I just gotta watch out as well, because if I overheat an area, or if I heat temperatures, they're going to expect that heat all the time, and then I can't keep up with demand. Alright, so let's skip ahead to Winterhome's demise. Alright, here we go, day 15, just starting off, and here he comes, the man from Winterhome, who dies as soon as he gets here. So again, if you're looking to have no deaths, you need to get to Winterhome before he gets to you. But I'm not doing that on this one. So you can see Hope just goes down the toilet, and everyone's a little more feisty now. The discontent will go up soon because the Londoners are going to start causing trouble. So I need to get those guard towers built. I need to have them cover a significant area. I need to keep the city in line, basically, and not have them be a problem and have the Londoners cause issues. And I'm setting up my heat towers just to keep the city heated as much as possible. So steel, I need to build that. I can't build it right just yet. Alright, here we go. There's the exclamation point. That is the Londoners. People want to abandon the Londoners. There it is. And there's 13 right now, but that will rise. I need steel. This is why I needed steel, you see? This is why I wanted to upgrade the mines, but I can't right now, so I've got to put engineers in there to try and keep everyone healthy, trying to keep everyone satisfied, while at the same time trying to earn enough to build guard towers. But my coal, you can see, that's going into the red, which means I'm coming up to near full capacity. I'm bringing down the area a little bit, but turning on the heaters. That's fine. I'm just waiting for the temperature to change again, but as long as I stay in the green. Chilly does mean that people could get sick and might get sick, but cold, which is that one, they will get sick. But thankfully that is my automation, which just always micromanaging. So let's pull ahead a little bit. So just come from the children's hideout, where you have to escort the children from the city. I send these guys to the city and then go on, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the woods where they've been eating their dead, and then burying them under trees. We can cut down all the trees, and then we can catch up to them before they leave the area. So I'm going to get the resources, then I'll catch up and escort them in. So yeah, that's part one, and so we're not even, I'd say this is about a quarter way through the playthrough. Well, you can see there's a lot to micromanage, so I'm gonna try and keep this down as few parts as possible, but no promises, because it's busy.